Hi, welcome to Love and Money Secrets TV. And today we are going to be talking about, I'm going to share with you the former dean of clinics at Tufts University for dentistry revealed something very interesting, both professionally and personally. So let me share my screen with you and we will show that. Whoops. Why is it showing this? This is not what I want. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. There she is.
I spent about 20 years in private practice in Lexington, Mass, and then was recruited to go to Tufts University, where I was dean of clinics for 10 years. And so I got the academic bug, and I absolutely loved it. I love teaching. I love sharing my knowledge with my students. And then left there in 2021 to pursue an opportunity down in Knoxville, Tennessee, where I was supporting the dean of that school in starting a brand new school. And while I was down there, we decided that we're going to purchase practices for the students to go into to start getting experiences really early. One of the biggest challenges that I see in dental education is it really hasn't changed since the 1800s. So while there's a lot to learn, they still teach it the same old way. And there's so many other ways that we could be doing it better. So we started to find practices down there. And that led me to being an owner of, 8 to 10 practices by the time we were finished. And that was challenging. And I ended up being in business with a very narcissistic business partner, which I did not realize at the time. And unfortunately, got very sick. I ended up having to leave that business and come home. But before I did, I realized that my blood pressure was extremely high, dangerously high. And for those of you who understand blood pressure, mine was 230 over 132. So I was a stroke waiting to happen. And luckily, my husband was introduced to LifeWave probably 2 weeks earlier by our good friend, Nancy Cook. And as soon as I got to his house in Florida, he started patching me up. And in about 2 weeks, I had gotten it a little bit under control, but it took probably about 2 months and it blew me away. I went to a follow-up appointment and my blood pressure was back to normal. So
I wanted to share that because there's two really points of distinction as you listen to Dr. Mary Jane Hanlon talk about how in dentistry that they still are teaching dentistry the way they did in the 1800s, and that not much has changed, which is, oh my gosh. But then when she talks about, also she reveals about how she had 230 over 100,
Yeah.
100 blood pressure. That is, oh my gosh, that's like
my.
heart attack waiting to happen, a stroke waiting to happen. That's super scary. She must have felt absolutely exhausted and awful to have blood pressure. I've never had high blood pressure. So I can't imagine how bad your body must feel. And I can't imagine what your head must feel like when your pressure is that high, but it can't feel pleasant. And for her to go from that to, luckily, she had got her hands on this life-saving technology, and she was able to start activating her original master blueprint, where she's turning back on what the original settings, optimizing her body so that her original settings are restored, and her blood pressure, she was able to confirm that within a 2-month period, she was able to get her blood pressure was back to normal. Now, there aren't too many things that exist on the planet that will give you those effects. And we know from so many people that we have on this life-saving technology, including Carol here, who, she was wearing a pulse oximeter the first day that we started her on the patches on that beautiful Tuesday. It was 8/8. It was August 8th, a Tuesday, when we started her on the patches, and she was wearing a pulse oximeter, and you had not only high blood pressure, but you had an irregular heartbeat, you had AFib, and immediately within a very short time frame, not even 15 minutes, you noticed that your pulse ox went up and your AFib went away and your heart started to go into normal range, right?
Absolutely, right away. Right away. It was even very noticeable because it had, it was moving fast, and then it just normalized.
Yeah, so within a few minutes. And we've had so many people, we've had literally people in dentist's chair where a dentist is monitoring because they're about to do a procedure on someone, and if their blood pressure is too high, they can't proceed because procedure will just increase their blood pressure and that's too risky. And by the simple application of this mother cell activation patch, within a couple minutes, their blood pressure is now normal. No medicine, no drugs, no lotions, no potions. This little it's a medical device. Now, we don't make medical claims, but our scientific studies show the effects of before and after, and we have a controlled group and a placebo group. And there's no question about it. It's not a placebo effect because there's a dramatic difference between the control group, the placebo, and the people who are on the subjects that are on the patches. And there's over 90 scientific studies, double-blind placebo, peer-reviewed, done in the United States, the UK, the European Union, as well as Asia. And separate from that, we have doctors like Dr. James Kneller, who has his own independent studies that he has done with subjects in his clinic, and he has those published separately on PubMed, and they're indexed, so anyone can find them. So pretty impressive. Not to mention, we have people like Carol that we have that come and directly report to us because we have them on the patches, and the rest is history. Carol, is there anything you want to add to that?
Oh, I think this, what I realized that it has such value to me, and that and it's simple. It's very simple. And allowing these patches to work in whatever way it unfolds our stem cells is it's really amazing, and it's very simple. And I love it because I'm out doing things again.
Yeah, you've got your life back because
Yes.
you were able to repair, restore, and regenerate yourself, right?
Yes, and I know many of my friends had the same thing happening. They got them on the stem cells and on the patches, and they are experiencing the same thing. They're absolutely thrilled with this system. So it does work.
It really works, and it works if you if you use it. It's like you can't be hydrated if you don't drink the water.
That's right.
We can have faucets in our kitchen, in our bathroom, all over. And unless we turn the water on, unless we fill that glass or that water bottle up with water, and then we actually drink it, it's not going to hydrate you unless you drink it. You got to drink the water to get the benefit from the water. Same thing is true with the patches. You actually have to apply the patches on your body. You put them on. I've got a higher collared shirt, so I normally have 5 patches. I put them on my neck bump, and you have to wear them on your body in order for you to get the benefit. And you apply them 12 hours on, 12 hours off. That's it, easy peasy. And then 12 hours off, respecting your parasympathetic nervous system so that it does the rest and digest. And then the next morning you repeat, just like you brush your teeth every morning and every night. You eat once, twice, 3 times a day. There are certain things because your body's constantly changing. So you have to tend to it daily. And so the story goes. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, tapping, and turning on. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, you can always circle back around, comment here, put whatever city, state, country you're in. If you want to do a good old-fashioned phone call, you can call our hotline, 949, that's country code 1+1 for those who are outside of the United States, 949 area code 478-2221. When you call, that is not hooked up to a system. It's not going to, you don't get put on any kind of a list. It's powered by the energy of one, which is me. So I actually physically have to look. I have to listen to the voice messages. Those voice messages are transcribed. So I basically read whatever voice message you leave, and then I can get back to you within a 24-hour time frame. All right. So, and if you don't want to do a good old-fashioned call and you just want to jump on a Zoom like this, you can join our Zooms at 12 p.m., 2 p.m., or 7 p.m. Pacific time at damelillianzoom.com. And I'd be more than happy to answer your questions here. All right. I guess we're going to call it a wrap. Carol, thank you for sharing your experience about this life-saving technology. And thank you for all of you learning and discovering about Dr. Mary Jane Hanlon, dentist, former dean of clinics at Tufts University for dentistry. All right. Ciao
Thank
for now.
you.